a series of dawn raids, FBI agents swooped down on communists indicted on charges of advocating the violent overthrow of the government.
As red fear gripped the nation, Congress passed the McCarthyism Act to target both immigrants and American citizens whom the government determined were communist sympathizers.
Pictures were made.
We've got to clean out those who are responsible, Mr. Chairman. In conclusion, those who are responsible, either knowingly or because they were simple dupes, covering up communists and traitors, not dead ones but live ones.
Though the term McCarthyism quickly entered the nation's lexicon, red baiting was actually a bipartisan practice with a long history. Wisconsin's Republican Senator Joseph McCarthy was simply the most adept at fanning the flames of intolerance.
One communist on the faculty of one university is one communist too many.
McCarthy was originally a supporter of Franklin D. Roosevelt and the New Deal. However, after failing to become the Democratic Party candidate for district attorney, he switched parties and became the Republican Party candidate in an election to become a circuit court judge. McCarthy shocked local officials by fighting a dirty campaign. This included publishing campaign literature as falsely claimed that his opponent, Edgar Werner, was 73, he was actually 66. As well as suggesting that Werner was senile, McCarthy implied that he was guilty of financial corruption. His method, though dirty, was very effective. He won this election. When the U.S. entered the Second World War, McCarthy resigned as a circuit court judge and joined the Marines. After the war, McCarthy ran against Robert La Follette to become Republican candidate for the Senate. McCarthy used his usual pathetic but highly effective method for campaigning. He attacked La Follette for not enlisting during the war. The reason why he didn't enlist was because he was 46 when Pearl Harbor had been bombed, and was too old to join the armed services. McCarthy also claimed that La Follette had made huge profits from his investments while he had been away fighting for his country. The suggestion that La Follette had been guilty of war profiteering was deeply damaging, and McCarthy won by 207,935 to 202,557. La Follette, who was deeply hurt by the false claims made against him by McCarthy, retired from politics and later committed suicide. McCarthy's accusations eventually led to Hollywood and the blacklisting. McCarthy's main informant was the chief of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, J. Edgar Hoover, who had obtained the names of many communists that were active in Hollywood. Many of the blacklisted were in fact falsely accused. Yes, some of the blacklisted were communists, but many were actually alcoholics, fascists, or homosexuals. In fact, if he was screened, McCarthy would have been blacklisted due to his alcoholism and his sexual preferences. Like all things, McCarthyism must come to an end. One of the people helping the end of McCarthyism is none other than Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Eisenhower was inaugurated as president in 1953. During the next 8 years, he confronted communism and McCarthyism, the Suez Canal crisis, the beginning of the civil rights movement, and the coming of the space age. The country would expand under his leadership as the states of Alaska and Hawaii joined the Union. Dwight David Eisenhower would face up to the progress and problems of the 1950s with integrity and strength.
Due to Eisenhower's aid, McCarthyism shattered.
Though slow to react, the American public finally pushed Congress to end the paranoia.
The growing practice of character assassination is already curbing free speech, and it is threatening all our other freedoms. For I know you have no way of telling when some unfounded accusation may be hurled at you, perhaps straight from the halls of Congress.
Afterward, a man comes forward. His name, William Sullivan. He apologizes on the behalf of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, because if it wasn't for former FBI Chief Hoover, McCarthy wouldn't have had names of members in the Communist Party, and McCarthyism wouldn't have been able to spread so far.